Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is February 3rd, 2022, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Apple and Microsoft continued their upside momentum, but the question is how much further? Now, looking at the major economic events of the day, starting at 2 p.m. South African time, out of Great Britain, we have an official bank rate number coming out, and then at 2:45, out of the European Union, we have a main refinancing rate. And then at 5 p.m. South African time, ISM Services PMI numbers coming out. Now, looking at the various markets, we're watching the major pairs tapering off at resistance-ish level. And looking at the indices, the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones continue to trade higher, but the question is how much further. Now, looking at commodities, gold bouncing off of support, while oil spiking to $89 a barrel and then making a correction. And looking at the stocks, it's the FAANG stock plus Microsoft that continue to rally, and Bitcoin slightly lower. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to start with the EURUSD. And looking at a 4-hour chart, you can see we're hitting this area, which is resistance-ish area. So you see a little bit tapering off here. That would be normal, okay? That would be healthy and normal. Let's see if it's going to give it another go on the upside. Now, looking at the GBP, that's a daily. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. 135.84 is your high here, okay, which was a minor resistance-ish area. Okay, if we look at that, that was somewhere before that we had this area. Oh, that's not a straight line. Let's clear that up. Let's make it a little bit straighter. If we have this before, okay, let's look at that right there. That's a little bit better. Okay, that is an area of interest because this was resistance, and then subsequent support. And now we're right there using the 8-day moving average as a support. So this number coming out, the official bank rate, that's an interest rate decision today coming out of Great Britain, is really important because if it does break this 8-day moving average, we'll be making a correction down to 135. Okay, this is really important. So keep an eye on this later today. Now looking at the Aussie USD, not doing much here. Out of all three, it's doing the least. Okay, just retracing just a bit or a tab here on the correctional move. Now looking at gold, 1804, we bounced off of our support of 1787, which was a decent support. Okay, we've had this for quite some time. All right, this has been an area where we've tested it several times before. It's a nice $20 move, not bad if you caught it. Just realize you're in the gray area. Anywhere between 1820 and 1800 is really a gray area because that's not really entry area. Entry area is 1786, so we're at the top of that move, I would say. So let's say if it comes back down, just give it space, okay? If it was somewhere at 1828, then I would say it's overbought, and then I would think to actually sell short. But here, I'll tell you, I wouldn't chase this up at this area. Now, looking at oil, had a nice spike yesterday to $89 a barrel, and then making a correctional move back to $88. So it looks like we're still here, and we're going to be trading in this tight range until there's some sort of impetus to take us one way or the other. Now, looking at the big board, the NASDAQ yesterday hit, let's look at the Dow Jones, hit a high of 35,500-ish level. Now, looking at a daily chart, let's give us a perspective here. This is the yo-yo situation that we had, and this is really perfect. Okay, look at this. This is really very perfect here, as this has made, a significant between this area and this area. Okay, this would be about 60% bounce. Okay, vis-a-vis where we were from our high to our low. Okay, so keep that in mind here, as this has really made a significant area. Now, this is a point of contention, and this is really the testing time to see if the stocks are really strong or are they going to peter out, okay? And usually when we have a tremendous spike down and we have a correctional move right afterwards, the next one is really decisive to let us know maybe it'll hit even lower than 33,000 and be back to the 32 if it does break down, okay? So that means that it would continuously go down on the downside. Now, right now we don't have a downwards trend pattern, but we do have a little bit of something right there, okay? That is something to consider, that is a downwards trend line potentially developing, okay? But that's something to keep an eye on, as this is continuously going to evolve in the next couple of days. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, we're seeing somewhat of a similar thing, right? We had the bounce, but then we had the retracement. Now, looking at the individual stocks, okay, this is where it becomes very interesting. Apple, still very strong, 175 and not giving up. Facebook, nice little pivot upwards. Microsoft, also nice little pivot upwards. And Amazon, okay, so all the majors, all the really important stocks are bouncing. Amazon is not bouncing as much as I'd like it for it to go, but there's rotation in the market, okay? So keep that in mind. Lastly, looking at JP Morgan, didn't get the bounce, okay? It's up on the day, but didn't get the bounce that we're looking for. So this may still peter out at a certain point. So that's something we got to keep an eye on as this develops. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, not much doing here. 37,000 down from 38,600, 1,500 point move. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, that's 1,500 points. But it's still trading in a very tight range and people booking their profits as, you know, there's no impetus for it to go higher. Technically wise, I'm speaking, okay? You could theorize what the fundamentals are because, you know, at the end of the day, cryptocurrencies do not have fundamentals. So, you know, I mean, for right now, we're just stuck to the technicals, and right now, technicals were flat. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.